I'm really thrilled right now because we have a special guest who's going to be joining us via Skype. His name is Joe Hill. He is the founder of AirTalk. And we've wanted to get him on the show now for a couple of weeks because he has made an app called AirTalk that's getting quite a bit of buzz. It was recently featured in TechCrunch. And I want him to tell us what AirTalk is all about. So, Joe, are you with us?
I am with you.
There you are. So nice to meet you in this way, Joe. And you are an autism dad, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And you have 2 children that are on the spectrum. So we love to talk to dads because we don't get to talk to dads often enough. So welcome to Autism Live. And tell us a little bit about what exactly AirTalk is.
Well, when I first started this whole journey of wanting to create an app, I was a financial planner, and I was dealing with families just like mine, families who were cash strapped and in need of good tools, and the more and more I was sitting down and talking with them, and they were talking to me about all these augmented communication devices that were costing $5,000 and $10,000. I was just looking at that going, well, that's just way too expensive. Why not get an iPad? And they were saying, well, there's not too many good iPad apps out there. And sure enough, they were right. There was a lot of apps that cost like $200 or $300 that were tough to use and kind of clunky, and I just wasn't really happy with what I saw. I'm a big fan of design. So I decided to create AirTalk, which families can basically just take their iPad and take pictures of whatever they want to, or they can download pictures and create flashcards. And when they create the new card with the picture, they type in a caption, and they can record their voice into the iPad, so that whenever the child touches the picture that they see, they hear their parent's voice come out of the iPad. And the picture travels to the bottom of the screen, and they can then make customized sentences. So they not only are learning new words, but also how to use them in a sentence. So pick up the blocks, please, or may I have juice, please, or just whatever they want to do, they can do, and do it very easily. And because my sons would stand in the middle of the kitchen and scream, and I didn't know what they wanted. So I thought it would be cool to have an iPad and just be able to turn on an app and just say, what do you want? And they can point or select what they want, because it's just they recognize, and a voice that they recognize to make things easy.
Well, it's brilliant, Joe, and I have to say that being able to customize it so it's the parent's voice and that they can take a picture of the actual thing is so exciting. We had an expert on yesterday talking about functional communication skills, Sue Cho, and she was showing a different app that didn't have these features, and she was talking about the fact that so much of the time, it's an emotional thing for parents that they think, oh, if we start to go with an assisted technology device, that our children won't speak. When in fact, the studies have shown quite the opposite. That those kids are more likely to speak, that they're more likely to have a decrease in those challenging behaviors, like you were saying, standing in the kitchen and screaming, because they don't have a way of telling us. And that one of the pluses of when it speaks is that the children actually acquire language in a quicker rate when they do find their voices, because they've had it consistently given to them. And for you to have a capability for us to put our own voices on it, I just think it's brilliant. So congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that. I think I'm really excited about it. It's it's much different than my original idea, in that it looks a whole lot better. Well,
what was your original idea?
Well, I mean, I wanted to do so much. I had like 5 or 6 features that I wanted to put in there, and my development team here in Norfolk, called We Are Titans, I threw all these ideas out at them, and they just said, yeah, that's going to cost a lot of money.
Oh, okay.
I was like, well, maybe we can add them as we go. But the simplistic nature of the app itself is really one of the highlights that I like about it. When it comes to customizing other apps, there's other apps out there where you might be able to record your voice, but if you can, I haven't found them. I haven't been able to find that feature in them either. And, you have to be able to use it in order for it to work. Otherwise, I'm going to get bored and walk away.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, and to be able to pair all of that, to be able to take a picture of the actual item, because so often when we're making flashcards, and we know that our kids can tend to be very inflexible and very literal in the beginning, and if we're taking an actual picture of the actual thing and putting our voice with it, I just think it's more reinforcing, which we know is important. So, Joe, talk to us about where can we get this app?
So you can, it's available on the iTunes store. It's for the iPad only at this point.
Okay.
You can go to airtalk.com. That's AEIRTALK.com. And it will give a little description of the app, but also there's a big green button at the bottom of the screen that says buy it here, and you can click on it, and you should be able to take them right to the iTunes store where it can be purchased.
And what is the cost currently for AirTalk?
It costs us $2 right now.
As opposed to some of these other programs that you can't do these things with that are $150 and $250.
Yeah, well, when we originally launched, we were in the $40 price range. But we just found that well, actually, I had to be honest with myself and just said, if I'm scrolling through apps and I'm looking at them, if I see a $40 app, I'm going to skip over it real fast, just because it's just not in my budget. And I really wanted something that was in people's budgets. And I think a $2 app for that anyone can use, not only with children with special needs, but just children, normally developing children in general, would be able to use it and learn from it. And that's what this app is. It's a gift to be able to have it be made and launch. So I figured, it should be a gift for a lot of people. And, we don't want to ask it too high of a price point. I think $2 is pretty reasonable for it.
Joe, you're my hero. Who better to do something than this than a dad who's actually going to use it with their child? And the fact that you've made it affordable for everybody, really, you are an autism hero. I'm verklempt here. I'm emotional about it because that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. Are you working to have it available on Android markets and for Microsoft?
Right now, I think our focus is going to be on iPhone and Android. Okay. Android is going to be a lot more work for us, though. So we're not expecting that for at least another year or two, just because the amount of capital we have to raise to get it built on that platform is pretty significant.
Yeah.
That and Android has, when you're dealing with, so I'm going to give you a little insight into app development here.
Okay.
When it comes to an iPad, it only has one screen size. It's the iPad. It has the same screen size. When it comes to Android, though, you're dealing with 5 or 6 different companies making different size screens. So you have to program for that. And so pixel density is a big thing. So if you say, well, this thing has a 9-inch screen and the other one has a 7-inch screen, each one has to be uniquely programmed.
Okay.
So, or at least the app has to be programmed to recognize those screen sizes. So it's a lot more. So it's kind of interesting. So it takes a little bit of time to develop for Android. And so we're just trying to reach as many people as we can initially. And the iPad and iPhone have, in the app world, 93% market share. It means like 93% of all apps are bought on those devices.
Right.
So, and the rest are on Android. But as you know, the special needs community loves Android because it's affordable. Yeah. And I'm very sensitive to that, and I want that to happen. But right now we just have to focus on what we have going on. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. And are you thinking of making more apps that address different things? Have you got more stuff in the works?
Not in the works necessarily. I think AirTalk is kind of a unique platform. So I've been getting a lot of feedback from the professional speech pathology community. Yeah. And, I'd really love to have a more advanced version of it, maybe a slightly more expensive for professionals and teachers. So these guys are time strapped. They go from patient to patient to patient. Yeah. So I really want something that they don't have to customize every single time. Right. And potentially, even for parents now, make card packs available. So if you want to teach your child, say, French or German or whatever, you have a card pack of 50 cards and make it available for $1, or 50 animals or 50 verbs or whatever.
I think that's awesome.
So that's a lot of stuff to get done, but that's sort of what we're focusing on for the next couple of years, and after that, who knows where. I mean, I have a few other ideas, but they're all on the back burner. And I'm loved that I'm part of the app community now,
Yeah.
and that it's been a dream of mine to be into tech. My degree's in theology, so for me to go
Wow.
all the way over here, it's been a kind of a long, winding journey. But it's still fun. And, and to be on TechCrunch and to reach that and to trend #1 on TechCrunch for a day and a half, the story is really reaching a lot of people and they really love it. And I think that's because it's an app for a purpose, and it's not just, a silly noise making app, even though I have some of those. Nothing wrong with them. I just think that it's just kind of fun to be part of an app that's really touching and reaching people. So it's kind of humbling.
How exciting was it in your house? Like, did you know that it was going to come out in TechCrunch? Were you prepared ahead of time, or was it a big surprise?
No, it was a big surprise. We had TechCrunch visit Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm at here, and we have our own little we have our own little tech community that's building here in the last year or so. A lot of startups are starting to form, and we're really excited to see that happening. So TechCrunch is going to be coming down to visit DC and Richmond. And they said, well, where else should we go? And a ton of people just wrote them on Facebook and said, come to Norfolk. And so we had a meetup of about 150 people with the lead editor from New York, John Biggs, and Jordan Crook, who's one of the mobile writers there. And they came down, and we all, everybody was just, it's like a big party, and we all just networked and everything. And I showed John my app. I said, if you have a few seconds, I just want to, sort of pick your brain about it. And he said, okay. And we went and sat down, and I showed it to him, just gave him a 30-second pitch and told him what it did and why I made it and how it can help a lot of people. And he said, that's great. Just send me anything that you have on it. I said, okay. So I sent him some links of some stories we had done on it before, and didn't hear anything back for a few days. And then I'm in my house washing dishes in the morning, and I get a tweet and it says, hey, congratulations on the TechCrunch write-up. I'm like, what TechCrunch write-up? So I run to my computer with wet hands, which is probably not smart, and dry my hands off, on my jeans and stuff, and get online, and I see it, and immediately just blast it out there, and just started thanking everyone who had made a comment. And we had we're right now we're over 2,000 likes on Facebook for that one story.
That's amazing.
And they're still getting feedback, which I love, and it's crazy, and it kind of feels like kind of a buoyancy. Because when I was making this app all of last year, I was scrubbing floors at a warehouse in the morning. At night, I'd work at a hotel, carry bags around for the customers there while this was being built, and trying to network and make that happen at the same time. So there are times when you're going through that going, am I crazy for building this? And then when you have an opportunity like TechCrunch to get a write-up like that, you see, oh, yeah, that's why I was crazy enough to start this whole thing.
Crazy smart.
And
Crazy smart.
Make my credit score go way, way down, so it works out though.
Well, I got to tell you, I love that whole story, but can I tell you what really caught my attention? That you were doing dishes. So let me see here, Joe. You're a smart guy. You're a really good dad. You're a smart businessman, and you do dishes. Okay, seriously, you're superhero status now. A dad who does dishes. Pretty amazing. That's wonderful. Tell us just briefly about your boys, because they were what inspired this, right? Right.
Absolutely. Well, I have two boys, Deacon and Gunner. And
love those names.
And Deacon, I never had to deal with anything like this when I was growing up. I didn't have any relatives who had special needs. You see that a lot. People I talk to, they have a cousin or a nephew or an uncle or something like that. Yeah. And I had never dealt with anything like that, so I didn't know what to be looking for developmentally. And my son just wasn't talking. He was kind of slow to walk. He just would be in his own little world. He was a quiet dude, pretty happy, pretty laid back. And for me, I'm like, I have the best son in the world. And and I did. But then after about 30 months, we said there's something up, And we have a really good community here medically. There was a head of pediatrics at CHKD, Children's Hospital King's Daughters in Norfolk, Virginia, and he has a teenage son who's on the spectrum. And so we went and we took Deacon there and said, we don't understand what's going on. And he said, well, you need to go see this person. And so we went to a couple of different people, and eventually we got the diagnosis, probably around the time he was 3 years of age, and immediately launched into just physical therapy and occupational therapy and speech therapy and all of those good things. And because his brother is so close to him, Gunnar, we knew exactly what to look for, the toe walking, not talking, things like that. So they're wonderful kids. They both love music. They laugh and giggle all the time. They like to jump on my back whenever I'm. They're like any other boy. It's just, there's just that uniqueness about them,
Wow.
and that's what makes them special. So we, and for me, I see other families who are struggling with, why isn't my son, especially other men, why isn't my son achieving these things? Why isn't he making his milestones? And for me, I'm more laid back in the sense of more practical. Like, I don't have any expectations for my sons. I really do not. I'd much rather them be happy, and even if they don't graduate college, be able to travel the world with me, if that's what it comes down to. Hey son, you're 22 years old. You want to go on a cruise with me? I don't. I guess that's my perspective on it. Other parents might have a different perspective, but for me, I don't have those high expectations or too low of expectations. I want them to be happy.
Wonderful.
And so I wanted a life for them that was going to facilitate that. And that's why I became a financial planner. And when I was quickly failing at that, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to go in to be an app to take care of my kids. Not only to teach them, but to take care of them as well. And I think we're on that road. Who knows? But I just didn't want to be one of those families that sits down and mopes all the time or complains on Facebook about how bad their life is. I just want to just be like, no, anyone can do that. Anyone can sit around and complain, but it really takes a lot to just pick yourself up and do something about it, even if it's hard. And it is hard. It's a lot harder to do that than to complain. So that's just.
Joe, I think you're amazing. I think your app is amazing. We certainly want to get the word out to people. So again, they can go to the iTunes store and get it. And they can go to your website, which we've been flashing up from time to time and we'll put up again. And for $2 to have access to this app and to be supporting this dad, and helping him to make his children's dreams come true, I think that's something we can all get behind. And I just want to thank you. We're pretty much out of time, but I want to thank you for being, because I know you've been really busy with everything else that you have going on, but I want to thank you for being here, and I hope you'll come back again.
Oh yeah, have me on anytime.
Okay.
I'll yammer at your face all day long. I promise.
Well, we love that, and I literally could talk with you all day long. But I got a doctor coming in a few minutes to interview. But thank you so much, and please give your best to your family. And we hope we're going to further your message and hope that even more people can find this wonderful app, Air Talk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
We're also on Facebook too, by the way.
Okay, so people can go there and give you a like and find out more information there as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Joe, thank you so much. Give your kids a hug from us.
I will.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.